Do you want to say something? Oh, okay. Is there a motion? Anything? Anything. I can wait.
Second.
Motion made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. So I asked this at the last meeting for, I think it was the poor person who was giving the presentation was, who was it that was, Mrs. Cirillo was here, and so I asked him a very unfair question, and so I think it's only right that I would ask you the same question. Sure. Which is this: what is the mayor's criteria for sending people's names down? This is his. I think he's pretty much have a record here. I think I've served with a lot of mayors, and I don't recall this many that a mayor has sent down to us other than this mayor. So this is a lot in a short 3-year term so far, and maybe there's more coming. Do you know what he believes the criteria is? What is it about these individuals that rises to the level?
So in sitting with the mayor and having conversation with the mayor, and as Mr. Octavian Spaniards nicely said, I think the mayor wants to really recognize that there are Lawrence people that are out there in the world making changes, making music to make people happier, whether it's music, whether it's something that they've done in this country. I think that his criteria is that they love the city, they want to give back to the city, and that they really truly love the city that they were born and raised in. I mean, he was born and raised in Lawrence, Massachusetts. So I think, if you look at, people that, this young kid at 16 was probably, just having a dream of making music and making it big like, everybody else. His idol was Michael Jackson, actually. And he thought in his mind that if he signed with someone, he would make it big. And I think that in recognizing someone like this and having the ability for him to speak to students, it actually does change how kids might think. If you touch 1, 2, 3 people, it makes a difference. Do you want to add to that?
Yes, I just wanted to, and I'm looking at, for instance, Wikipedia. It's a universal encyclopedia on the web that people look for. If we want to highlight the city of Lawrence, we have to also highlight notable people. If you take, for instance, if you go on Wikipedia, you have a lot of people that are not here that really are making the difference because they are not basically recognized. Like, for instance, this case, Nicky Jam is not in here. If you have this person, Dominic Marte is not in. And so you may have other talents that are not even being recognized. And the reason for that is that we're not even recognizing them. And these are talented people that are outside. They may be in the music or art industry, but if you have to go in other communities and research, you will find that some of them are recognized by their own people. In addition, as I mentioned before, the criteria is that we want to highlight positive information, people that are making the difference, people that want to become a role model. It could be not only musicians, it could be teachers, it's people that are making substantial difference, so much that it could be, the younger generation can aspire to be one of those people based on the example that they're setting.
Does that answer your question?
It does because the answer is very subjective. We don't have an objective criteria. There is no, you've got to do this, you've got to, whatever. There's nothing that says it's really.
There's no matrix. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. So what Councilor Del Rosario may think is worthy may be completely different than what the vice chair, which may be completely different than what Councilor Santiago, and I may agree or disagree. Our values of who we think deserves some sort of recognition at this level really varies behind the experiences of the city councilors who are going to saying yes or no to it. When we look at artists in our city, we haven't had a lot of artists prior to Nicky Jam. There was 2 artists that come to mind. and I say artist because in a very broad sense. Tell me if you heard the name Robert Frost or Leonard Bernstein.
Of course.
Those, I can't think of any other artists that we have. So my question for you, if that's the standard that we have as a city, does Nicky Jam and Dominic Marte at the same stature as Robert Frost and Leonard Bernstein? If that's the standard we're looking at.
Well, I think
And they
each one has their own agenda, right? Like, I mean,
Sure.
you know,
But
one is a
that's
poet, the other one, yeah.
But they're artists in a very broad sense. They're not fighters, they're not military people. They didn't make something. They didn't discover anything. They are artists with words or artists with music, right?
Right.
So, and again, each one of us could have different points. We may say, yeah, that's fine, but this guy right here measures it up for me. I think this person is, I want to say good enough, but that sounds kind of bad. But meets my requirements. That's probably a better way of saying it. Did you want to say?
Through you.
I think you want to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, but when it comes to that, through you, Chair,
Yeah.
it's not a fault that we are recognizing these people now. So I should blame the people in the past that never recognized their own artists, or they never brought it in to recognize their own artists. A year ago, I recognized a football team that did great, even though they lost, right? And somebody told me, well, but they didn't win. Well, but they had a great season, and I think it should have been recognized. So our ancestors or whoever was here first never took the time to recognize those artists or those members of the community doing great in what they do, and it's grateful that we're doing it now. Not just because it's Dominic Martin. It could be anybody else that we start recognizing from now on. I mean, back in the days, they never did it. I think it was wrong not to recognize them back then. That today we have a history of what a great artist they was or what a great painter they was. So I think it's a good path that we taking now, and we should take in consideration all kinds of artists that we have in our city and start recognizing them. That's what I think. I mean, I think we should blame whoever was here in the past and never recognized those great talents that we had in the city.
So I don't think in this particular discussion, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think the counselor, that's an opinion. I've got my opinion, and there's nothing right or wrong about either opinion. It's what our values or whatever values, that's a loaded word too. It's whatever we think measures up in our minds as to what would be acceptable for this kind of demonstration of acknowledgement, right? And oftentimes, in our city, most of the stuff we see around here are military, because most, not all, there's nothing absolute in the city, most but not all have given their lives, and so we've done it. But many more gave their lives, and they don't have anything named after them. Many more. Most don't have it. And we're at a different place now where, thank God, there's less people giving their lives for this country, thankfully. So, and then we look to, I think, places that we can acknowledge folks for excellence. That's what I'm looking for. And I think it's a lifetime. For me, it's more of a lifetime achievement award because, and Mr. Marte, I know him not as well as others. I know him. I don't know his music. I know him through his children.
You can try to listen to music. It's amazing.
What makes you think I haven't heard it, Council Vice Chair? What makes you think we jumped to a conclusion?
Just gotta go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we
I
can-
have them I've got them on my tracks.
I can invite you for the next.
Yeah.
For
So the point,
next event.
no, I got you. So the point is that we're, the point here is that I'm, as you can tell by the debate, I'm very much struggling with a lot of this. I am being very candid and very open and very transparent. I am struggling with this because most of the folks that we see, not all, again, no absolutes, most of what we've done in the city has been folks who have had the lifetime of doing something. And then near the end or after the end, we have acknowledged, wow, that was an amazing life they lived. Now, there's a thought coming in now, why wait? I also have the opinion, if we have under whatever the Pop Warner team did, I was happy to sign on to that resolution. We acknowledge them. We have tools in our toolbox that we can do to acknowledge people for what they have done. When we go to the extent of naming a park or naming a square, that is at a whole different level. It's a whole different level. And I'm still struggling, I'll be candid with you, I'm still struggling as to where that is. 'Cause I know things are changing, and I'm trying to figure out, when that change, what I think fits in that change? Because we're not talking about military people much anymore.
Right.
We're talking about,
Residents.
hopefully residents, but there's not always residents either that we got things named after them. But yeah, so I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna vote on this. If this is a favorable recommendation, I have every right to change my mind at the full council, and I might. I'm gonna be voting no tonight. I'm not voting present. I'm sorry, I'm gonna editorialize. I hate when people vote present. Take a freaking decision, stick by it. Make a decision, stick by it. That's what I'm passionate about, is when I hear present at the full council level, decide, take a stand. I'm gonna vote no tonight on this, but I'm gonna reserve my right to maybe change that mind at the full council. Let me think about it some more. So anyway, is there any more discussions on this?
To you, Chair,
Yeah.
thank you for taking on consideration for our next meeting, because when you learn more,
Look at you.
know how
Yeah.
important it is for our community
Yeah.
to recognize
Okay.
the people born in our city, and they do something different and good
Mm-hmm.
through the year. So I'm so happy to see this kind of item in the agenda, because I want to recognize
Okay.
our people born in our community, because sometimes we have a lot of comments, because a lot of youth give you comment, we don't have the opportunity, we not offer the same opportunity to our youth in our community. So I love to see the kind of item and recognize our artists, because Mr. Martet, he be a part through different stages and represents all as St. Lawrence, and I'm so happy to see that.
Okay. Any other comments on this before we take a vote? No comments, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, no. Roll call vote. Council Santiago,
Yes.
Councilor Vice Chair Reyes,
Yes.
Council Del Rosario,
Yes.
and as been advertised, the chair votes no, but it could change his mind at the full council. There you go. All right, so this is sent up to the full council with favorable recommendation.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
And
And
just
yeah.
for the record, he's had 28 songs peaked from 1 to 10 on the billboard. So, I mean, from 1 to 10 on the Spanish billboard. So
That's pretty-
that's something pretty big in the United States.
That is big. That is
Thank you.
excellent point, thank you. I'm going to stick around with our Mr. Spanner. Are you done, or do you have anything else you want to bring, because you're here? We try to take our city employees out first. Okay, okay. Okay. Are you sure you're all set? Mr., you're all set? Okay, thank you. Police Officer Cano. Sir, we will ask you just, it's a public meeting, you feel free to stay here and listen. Please. Mr., okay. I'm looking for a motion for a 1-minute recess so we can clarify this.
Motion to.
Motion to recess made by Council
Second.
Del Rosario, seconded by Council Chase. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you. Are we safe to go back? Is it safe to go back in the water again?
Motion to come back to recess.
Motion to come back out of recess by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Council Santiago. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Okay. Back, where were we, Officer Cano?
So I think this gentleman, we could take his.
You want to do that one? Sure.
Because he's part
Okay,
of
it's part of what you're
I'm
doing.
here for.
Sure, so the first document is document 14019. Where's my pen? 9 Saratoga Street. They're looking to, it's going to go back to you, Officer Cano. I don't, So this is a little bit different, but we're going to send it back to you. So you're just looking to relocate where the sign is by several feet or something? Is that what
Correct,
we're
so
doing?
it's
Okay.
actually present. It was ordinance many years ago.
Yep.
And upon speaking to the petitioner, he requested to have it moved because he's having issues with vehicles parking in front and behind his vehicle. So all we're gonna do is reassess and relocate that handicap parking either beyond the driveway or right at his driveway. The issue that we were having is there's water lines and gas lines. So, we had the gas company, DigSafe go out, and also the water department to mark the spaces, and then we're gonna determine where exactly we can put that sign.
Do you think, and this is a question that's unfair for me to ask you, do you think this is gonna require a public hearing? We're gonna change the ordinance on this? We're changing the ordinance, or, yes, we're gonna move it, so this is technically a change?
It's just the actual location, but it's gonna be at the residence, it's either gonna be a few feet before,
Alright.
a few feet after, but.
We'll figure it out later. So we're gonna look for a motion right now to send this to you for further reviews.
Yes.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Vice Chair Reyes, there, seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That matter will remain tabled right here until we get the report back from that. Is there any, I may want you to stick around for a little while. I may not want you to leave so quickly. Are you on the clock right now?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other items that are,
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
have one, which is 29123, and this is a relatively simple item.
Okay.
In that it's just an amendment. So basically, it was originally done and granted back in December 10th of 2023.
got it.
It was for Walnut Street, where the petitioners had requested Walnut Street to be resident parking between, at that time, my belief was Myrtle Street to Bromfield. But through discussion with the counselor as well, Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, and also the petitioners, they were looking to have the street completely residential parking between Myrtle Street and Park Street. So this is the amendment at the end. At the bottom, it says amended resident parking, Bromfield Street from east and west side, both sides of the sidewalk, from Myrtle to Park. That's it. 7 days a week, from 5 PM to 7 AM, as ordinance.
And this is our old number, so this is actually very good. So, Councilor Del Rosario, I think this is your district, right, Councilor? That's correct. Okay, so I think the best course of action on this would be to delete the current ordinance and then amend that ordinance with the broader, with the bigger, including that, and then adding to another one. So that was the advice that was given me by the clerk, and it makes some sense. So I don't think we need to send it back to you. I just think we need to send it to the full council. So I'm going to look for, and we're going to have more discussion, but I'm looking for a motion to do this, to send this up to the full council, to delete the current ordinance, and then to amend it with this new ordinance, which is broader. Is there a second to that amendment, to that motion?
Second.
Is it motion, did you make the motion?
So move.
Oh, motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by the vice chair. Discussion. Councilor Del Rosario, no? No one? Okay. So we're going to order a public hearing on this at the full council. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no? The ayes have it. So Pat, that's going up to the full council. We're deleting the current ordinance that's there, and we're amending it with this broader ordinance. It's got longer street. Anything else?
That's all.
Can you stick around for a few minutes, just in case things
Sure.
kind of go nutty? All right. All right, Mr. Spanner's here. Sir, you're all set now. Okay, you're good.
I'll just be outside talking to him.
Super, you got it, you got it. Ma'am?
I've been trying to get on Zoom for the last 20 minutes, nobody let me in.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you. Well, you're a good woman. Thank you. Okay. If I could see you on here, well, I can't see you now because you're here. I'm not gonna press any buttons. So, you're here. What item are you here for? And I'm sorry about the inconvenience.
I'm 42724.
427. The next one, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for coming. So go right ahead, you have the floor.
Okay, so we're here to request permission to use part of the Lawrence Common Park to facilitate a hayride.
What is your
through-
name? I'm
My
sorry.
name is Kathy Ruiz. Last name, I'm the Administrator of Children and Family Services for the YWC.
Ms. Ruiz?
Yes.
Thank you, welcome.
I'm here representing Luis Martinez.
Okay.
Who's in Greece right now.
Well, you're lucky.
So we have been running this function for many, many, many years. Last year, we were able to collaborate with GLCAC and YMCA to run our event, so that we can expand it. Last year, we were able to use part of the common park for a hayride, which was sponsored by Stephanie Infante, and we're just asking permission to use it again. I don't know if you guys have a copy of the map that we're looking to use. It's only until the monument.
We're looking.
But Louis told me he submitted it. I have a copy just in case you need to see it. So we closed down the street, right in front of our buildings from Common Street to Lowell Street. And we shut it down and we just run a whole event. We have trunk or treat at Amesbury, 101 Amesbury Street parking lot. And we, run a lot of fun events for them. So last year, our hayride was a huge success, so we're trying to get it happening again.
Sure, and the date is October.
October 18th.
So you have not a lot of time, but you got
Yeah.
a little bit of time.
And I will let you know, it's not a moneymaker. Everybody's shocked that, we literally 100% sponsor it for the community.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, that's not really a question that we typically
Yeah.
ask. It's
No, it's just,
yeah.
again, I get a lot of people shocked
Okay.
when we say, because it's such a huge event that we run every year.
So the most important part that I'm looking for, maybe my colleagues are looking for it as well, is just making sure that there's no conflicts on that date.
Yes.
You want to use, and I don't have a map here. I don't see a map. Do you have
I
can you just give it? We don't have a map, so that would be good, I think, for us to get a visual. Pat, can you just grab that? That's a good idea. We'll want that. Let me just show it to my colleagues here so that we can all see it. So it's on Lawrence Street, and you have essentially, everybody's gonna have a chance to see this before I give it back. The hayride's gonna go right to the Civil War Monument,
Yep.
and that's it. So you're just gonna be using, and that's all you're gonna be using in
That's
the
the
common.
only place
You're
we're gonna
not
use.
going near any other
No.
part of that.
It's just right in that front. It's gonna be like a
So that's
storytelling,
familiar
and we
copy of
go,
it.
we'll have a few staff at, certain locations. It starts right there. Again, like I said, the street is closed. It starts there. It loops around and it comes right back.
So it doesn't ride inside the park, right? It rides inside the park?
Just for
Yes.
just for that portion.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that we're looking for. And so you have horses. It's
No,
hayride. I'm sorry.
it's a tow truck that we use.
A tow truck, okay, so no manure.
No manure, no,
Gotcha.
no
Okay.
animal, no nothing. It's
Okay.
just a tow truck. We put guardrails around it, we fill it with hay.
Okay.
And we use that street piece, the road that we come around it. Well, that's what we used last year. I'm talking like we do it all the time. No, it's what we used last year.
And I'm just looking to make sure that, and you talk to recreation, or I can't imagine that part of the park being taken, but I have to ask, does it get clearance by recreation department?
Yes, it did.
Looking. Yeah, okay, I'm not seeing, is anybody else seeing that recreation approval sign off? Because I'm not seeing it quickly. I'm not saying it's not there, just not seeing it.
No, I was told by our COO that it was approved by Olive. She too is in Greece, so they sent me here.
Okay, so you were told that it was approved by the recreation department,
Yes.
and,
She didn't give me anything.
no, I understand. So, well, we do have a paper copy, and we do have some sign-offs, and that's the most important one, and we try to, I think I can speak on behalf of the committee, we try to be consistent about this, we're not
Absolutely.
pulling one out and applying different rules. And so we want to make sure, it's very unlikely that anybody else wants that part of the comment on that date, but we still, in the worst-case scenario, we don't want to have a conflict and have someone say, oh, I got that part of the comment, I thought we had the whole comment, and there's a hayride going on
Yeah,
near the
understandable.
YW. So I would recommend that this committee, send this up to the full council with a favorable recommendation. And I would also ask that it be contingent on just formalizing and making sure that we have something in writing that says that the recreation has okayed it for that day, so there's no confusion.
Now, should I reach out, this is my first time doing
Sure.
this, should I reach out to the recreation department? to get
Yes,
that? Okay.
please do, because you're the applicant. And so we want you to do that. And then we want you to send that to, you can send it to, make sure you send it to the city clerk,
Okay.
Clerk Eileen Brunel. You
Anybody
can-
got a pen?
Sure. We have plenty of pens. You want one? All right. Thank you, Counselor. Am I missing anything on this, by the way? Okay,
City
go ahead.
clerk, who was that?
Eileen Burnell,
Eileen.
and her name should be on the website. If you're looking for clerk, you'll see her name and website address.
Do you know who the contact person at the Recreation Department would be?
Adderley Gonzalez, and that's the person who you should be speaking with. And if it's not him, he can direct you to the right person.
Okay. And then just send a copy to Eileen Burnell, and who was the other person?
Well, we want to, I think that would probably be good.
Okay.
If you want to send it to all of us on this committee, you can, just
Okay.
in case one of us, whatever. It's good for the committee to be aware. So our names, this is Councilor Del Rosario.
I think I
We're
have
all
it
on,
on,
we're all on there,
yeah.
on the website.
plan.
That's me.
Reyes, Del Rosario, and Santiago.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Got the list. Okay. So that's it. The only small thing I want to mention, I always have this, and please don't take this personally. I always, when I hear Common Park, we just talked about people naming of stuff, and it's kind of it's a big deal for all of us, especially big for me as well. It's Camp Union Common for the 3 boys that died during World War II, and we named the common.
The
So if
reason
you-
why I didn't refer to that is I have a hard time pronouncing
It's
it.
a tough name.
And it's, for me, it's like, rather than saying it wrong,
Okay.
done, but
That's,
I
you,
understand.
you do it with respect, and I can appreciate that, so yeah,
Yeah.
okay, very nice. Looking for a motion.
Motion to send a full course of referral recommendation.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago, and this is with the caveat that we get some sort of written correspondence as part of the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no, the ayes have it. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for coming.
So once this,
Yes. Oh, you need to come next Tuesday. Go ahead.
once I get this, do I come back? Is that how it goes?
Yeah,
Okay,
so we're just the committee that,
next Tuesday?
yeah, so next Tuesday is our regular city council meeting.
Oh,
As our regular city council meeting, this entire council is the council provides the permit
Okay.
for it. We just provide the recommendation. So we've recommended that you get it, and we're asking for that backup documentation, and there should be no problem. But you should be here.
Yeah.
You should never take anything for granted, so you should be in case someone has a question about it.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Are they gonna do Zoom?
Yes, we should be doing Zoom. And I'm sorry I didn't see you on there, or else I would have definitely put you on, so, all right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. All right, I guess we're gonna go in order. Document 428-24. Oh, wait a second. That is, I think we all got an email on that. Hold on, I think we wants to table that. Hold on. McCarthy. Here it is. Plan Department, I got a memo, and I think all of us did. Good. Good morning, all, or good afternoon, all. The Plan Department has 2 items scheduled for this evening's committee hearing. Document 428, which is this one, 24, and 429-24. Document 429 must be reviewed by the Lawrence Planning Board first, and is currently scheduled for an October 2, 2024 hearing before that board. Miles Saul, sick and unable to attend the meeting. I would ask that these 2 documents be tabled until the next committee meeting. So I'm looking for a motion to table document 428-24.
Second.
Motion made by the Vice Chair, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, that matter is tabled. Same thing for document number 429-24, looking for a motion to table.
So move.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Let's talk about the next one. Document 430-24 is childcare parking at 140 East Haverhill Street, number 3. Council, can we talk about what we talked about, you and I, the other day at the fire station? I thought that was really a good conversation. So I think what we're doing is the right thing with making sure these are sent to the ISD, Inspectional Service Department, to make sure that they are properly credentialed. The other thing, and I never even thought of this until the counselor mentioned it to me, but that we also have various, whether it's this or other items, when we have, that we should be checking with the city clerk's office as well for business certificates. And if we're going to be consistent, we should be doing that as well for businesses that are asking for other permits and making sure that they're properly permitted. Now, this is a childcare, and I would think that they are permitted with the city clerks. Is that right? Okay. So we all make the decision on how we should go with it, but that would be my recommendation, that we would take 40, 30, 24, and that we would send it to the ISD, police for meets and bounds, the measurements, and also to the city clerk to make sure that they're properly got their business license with the city clerk's office. So that would be, and it's a different change on what we did a couple weeks ago, because we didn't send it to the clerk's office, but I think that was a good point in our discussion. So I'm looking for a motion, and we can talk about it some more if we need to, but is there a motion for that?
So move.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario and seconded by the Vice Chair. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Pat, did you get all that? That was an awful lot. It's going to 3 places: police, ISD, Special Services, and the city clerk for their business certificate to make sure they all comply. And you're going to keep this committee on the fire when other business come up and say, hey, what about, and then we'll make sure we're on that. Thank you. Document 43124, remove the 15-minute parking sign, delete the ordinance at 38 Avon Street. Well, usually there's something here that, like a letter from it's from Council Luzon. Usually there's like a petitioner that says the person who had it has moved out, we don't have it anymore, but there's nothing here.
Yeah, the person living there before is the same person moving to 140 East Hayward Street. There's no reason to maintain the sign there because.
Oh, they're moving to a different place?
Yes.
Where are they going to? I'm sorry.
The person live on 38 Avon, I believe they moving to 140 East Hayward Street.
Do you see that address on here?
So that is the reason they request to remove the 15-minute parking.
Oh, so the 140 and the 140 East Haverhill and the 38 Avon Street they're connected. Is that what you're suggesting? And so we're taking out we're putting a childcare parking on East Haverhill, and we're taking out a handicap parking.
No, it's not 15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes.
15-minute
Yeah,
parking.
we
I'm
have
so sorry.
history
You're
about
right.
that in the
So
past.
sorry.
Yeah,
You're right.
through you, Chair.
Yeah, please help me.
They were here.
Okay.
There was a gentleman that came in to have it removed.
Okay.
Then we sent it somewhere, and then the lady came back asking not to be removed because she still have her child care there.
Okay.
And we battled here a little bit, and we ended up leaving the 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that she moving her business now to 140
Yes, she
East
buy
Haverhill.
her own house.
So she bought a house, she moving the business, which is a child care business, and now she's requesting a child care
Okay.
at 140 East Haverhill and removing the 15 minutes from
Gotcha.
Avon Street because she's not gonna be longer there.
Okay. And we already have an ordinance on there, so we're gonna need so are we feeling comfortable about just sending this up to order of public hearing? We feeling good about that? Okay. So I'm looking for that motion then.
Motion to send to the full council for recommendation for removal.
To order a public hearing?
Order in a public hearing.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario. Who seconded that? Council Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right. 43224. Resident parking, this is probably should go to the police department. Looking for a motion?
Motion to send to the police department for review.
Second.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario to send this document over to the police department for their review, properly seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion. See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 43324, stop sign at Center Street. Council Del Rosario and to the councils to my right have this one. All right, so what are we doing?
We send it to the full council with a fair recommendation or like approval hearing.
Second.
Don't we usually
Yeah,
send
we got
that
a
to the
police department,
first?
send the
It's a
police
bit-
department.
Even I
a-
caught that.
I got a little.
Okay.
So we might skip a part, but motion to send to the police department for review.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 434-24. Council Santiago?
Yes, motion to send for the police department and full council for favorable recommendation.
Why don't we send it to the police department first and see what the report is?
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to send it to the police department for their recommendations. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion? See no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. That's to the police. 435-24, one-way, Josephine Ave. Council Santiago?
Motion to send for police department
For the recommendation?
for the favorable recommendation.
Motion's been made by Councilor. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion?
Discussion.
Councilor Del Rosario?
This should also go to the engineering department,
Oh, yes,
just for.
For the
I mean,
one-way?
if-
That's a
yeah,
good
yeah,
call.
it's just-
yeah,
Are you amending your motion?
yeah.
Motion's
Motion
been-
to send to the police department and city engineer.
So the motion's been made for
For
the
favorable
police and the engineer department. It's been made by Council Santiago, properly seconded by Council Del Rosario. Thank you for the catch. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 436-24, handicap parking at 303 Prospect Street. Looking to send this to the police department for their review.
So move.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 437-24, handicap parking at 219 Prospect Street. Looking to send this to the police department for their review.
So,
Motion made by
Second.
Council Santiago, seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Pat, are we going too fast? You keep it up. You got it? All right. It's like I'm playing bingo. All right. 438-24, childcare parking at 215 Prospect Street. Looking for a motion to send this to the police department for their review, ISD department for their review, and the city clerk for their business certificate for their review. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion made by Vice Chair Reyes.
Second.
Seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 439-24. Childcare parking, 220 Sunray Street. Motion to send this to the police department, I'm being very repetitive, police department, ISD, and city clerk. Is there a motion?
So move.
Motion by
Second.
Councilor Vice Chair Reyes, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 440, childcare parking, 6 Knox Street. Looking for a motion to send this to the police, ISD, Special Services,
So move.
and wait a second, the clerk's office.
So move.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, seconded by the Vice Chair. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 441-24, four-way stop, Lowell Street and the corner of Milton Street. Councilor Reyes? Vice Chair Reyes?
Motion to send with the officer, Cano for review, or
Second.
police department.
Motion made, to send to the police department, has been made, and properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 446-24, handicap parking at 76 Inman Street. I'm looking for a motion to send this to the police department for their review. Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing no discussion, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next document is 447-24, status, here we go. I'll slow it down. Status of the maintenance of historic Rollins School Clock Tower. Councilor Santiago, this is your motion. What do you wish to do with it?
I'm looking for an update because we send an email for,
Do you wish to speak on this? Okay. Madam Chair, are you having a flashback?
Thank you.
Is there, so there's a, do you want to make a motion, or do you want to have Mr. Collins speak first? Up to you.
yeah, let me allow him first.
You want him to speak first? All right, why don't you speak first, Mr. Collins, and then we'll entertain a motion. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the Ordinance Committee. Bill Collins, One Flat Court. This is, has to do with the Rollins School. The city clerk toned down the language. It wasn't the way I worded it. The clock has been totally neglected for the last 6 months. As you can see with the handout I gave you, the dial that faces east has a tree growing on it. Tree's been growing for over 5 years. School's been notified, DPW's been notified, leadership at DPW was notified. Nothing's been done with it. The clock itself occasionally is not working, the entire clock, like today. Sometimes it's lit, sometimes it isn't lit. There's a handout I gave you about the clock. I'm gonna leave here if you don't mind. Just a couple of brief facts about the clock. City of Lawrence requested a museum-quality restoration of the clock in 1992. The clock was completely neglected for many years, badly rusted, covered with droppings from birds. It's actually 93. In 3 short decades, what 100 years took to ruin that clock has occurred in 3 decades under the maintenance of the Lawrence School Department or DPW, either one. And I wonder why they're not here tonight. I wonder if they were notified to be here, because they're in charge of that clock. That clock, the Rollins School clock, is on the National Historic Register. Charles Body, the great Charles Body, the Body family, were big backers of the renovation of the clock in '93, along with people like Ray DiFiore, a lot of the prominent citizens of Prospect Hill, David Bain, and I'm sure former councilor, I can't think of his name right now, Dowd, was involved with that also. A lot of us gave money for that restoration, a lot of those prominent families from the Hill. The city has neglected to do their job, taking care of the clock. And it's a shame. So I wanted to bring it to somebody's attention because for the last 6 months, nobody in the leadership at DPW has done anything about it. So once again, here's a write-up with a lot more facts than what I just gave you about the detail of the restoration of that clock, which is amazing. It's one of the most celebrated clocks in New England. Probably in Lawrence, it's only second to the great AML clock, which is lit up like a bordello, if you look at it. It doesn't look like a historic clock with those garish colors. So I hope somebody will look into the fact that the Rollins School clock is not being maintained as it should, as a National Historic Register landmark. And it's an insult to the people that donated money to fix that clock and to the citizens that live on Prospect Hill. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Collins?
Through you, Chair.
Mr. Del Rosario?
And you said they tried the restoration on 1993?
Yeah, it's in your handout that I gave you. The clock was built in 1892, I believe was the year the Rollins School was built, right after the firehouse next door, same project more or less. So the clock worked for probably 7 decades, up until the 60s. And when I was a kid, it fell into disrepair. And then a group of citizens, like some of the names I mentioned previously, got together and did a fundraiser and got the city to get a grant. And I don't know what it cost them, but it was really a museum-quality restoration. You can see the details on that paper. And, you know, it's to be expected to be maintained, at the very least. They do hire a gentleman from Maine who winds the clock. I don't know why he hasn't been down, maybe they haven't paid him, I shouldn't speculate, I don't know, but that clock ran all the time since they fixed it up until about this year. It consistently ran, it was wound consistently, it was lit properly, and it was a symbol of the neighborhood. As a matter of fact, it's on the fire engine across the street. It's one of the symbols that's painted on it. So hopefully somebody will pay attention to that. And you know, instead of people marking time until they retire in city leadership around here, maybe they'll get off their ass and fix that clock and maintain it the way it should be maintained.
And something I would like to
Councilman
add,
Santiago, go ahead.
and something I would like to add, it is, the clock is The pieces of the clock, it is broken and getting down. The kids are in classes. We send it some emails in summer because we try to get their repair before classes get started. And the pieces getting down frequently, and that's dangerous for the kids. And there are small kids, and they go everywhere. The pieces when they're broken out. That's why we are looking to repair as soon as possible as well.
Yeah, I know the building supervisor did reach out to the fire chief, and they investigated using a fire ladder to get up there or some kind of apparatus, but with the high power wires on Platt Street and Howard, it was a little difficult. But there is a hatch above the clock for a steeplejack to come down if it need be and work on that clock. But the point is, it shouldn't be in that condition if there was any preventive maintenance whatsoever in that building, which there isn't.
So the question now is, no pun intended, I guess there is a pun here. We can't turn back time. It is what it is, and now all we can do is what are we as a city going to do now? That is an historic structure. That is, I think, a lot of people from that area really identify with that clock. Yeah. Many of our neighborhoods have things. Tower Hill, for example, has got the tower that people identify with the tower, and in Prospect Hill, I would imagine this particular building is something they identify. So it's important. It's important to the fabric of our city and for the people in that neighborhood. One of the recommendations I would make to this committee, if it chooses, is that there was also the Air Mill Clock Tower. Remember Tom Caffrey? Tom Caffrey many years ago spearheaded.
Thank you.
But
I'm sorry I omitted that name.
no, that's okay. But keep in mind, the Air Mill Clock is also a private
Yeah.
clock, and that took private contributions. This is different because this
Right.
is owned and maintained by the city.
Right.
So what I would recommend to this committee is that we send a letter to both the CAFO and to the mayor requesting that this item be reviewed for the next capital improvement budget, because this is a capital improvement expenditure. And it's all about money. It's all about making a priority. That's the best suggestion I can come up with this time, short of, I don't know what else, but
I appreciate what you're saying, but
what? So that's a great idea, but I don't
if
like
could-
it. Why? Go.
No,
Let's hear it.
that's a solution, but you know what? It's been going on 6 months. This occurred before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay.
Nobody planned for it. They kicked the can down the road, and now there's a clock. It's like having your teeth out when you look at the clock.
So let me ask you, I'll ask you this question. What do you recommend that this committee and this council do?
Well, I think there should be money, a grant, it's an emergency more or less to get that clock running. Because it is on the National Historic Register. It has been neglected now for 6 months. Nobody has a plan. There's no plan. So I understand what you're saying, set money aside, but that's just, shouldn't cut it, because we shouldn't wait for that. It could be more damage done while it's in disrepair, waiting for the capital improvement budget to fix it.
So what I doubt what's going to happen is that I think the money that we have in the budget is already allotted for certain things. What we're trying to find is where is there money, because I have no idea how much this is going to cost. Do you have any estimates as to how much this is going to cost? How much did it cost back in '93? Or,
I don't, that's a great question. I don't think it's in this handout I gave you, but I don't know. I don't know how much it cost.
so I don't either.
I mean, in this case, it's a simple fix. Everybody knows what needs to be done. A steeplejack, they have steeplejacks, could come out of the hatch, come down, take care of that growth that was neglected. It should have never
What's this
occurred.
thing? What is that?
This is the
And
piece
as you can see, there's a tree growing in the clock.
Is that, oh, that's the tree.
And that didn't grow yesterday.
It looked
That-
like, okay,
Oh,
I'm
that-
sorry, I thought that was something else.
Oh,
I
no,
thought
that's
that
over
was like,
6 years of neglect, and they knew about it. I've sent emails, other people have mentioned it. It's been,
that's a tree.
you know, so they know very well that that thing just grows and grows. And now it's grown to the point where the clock doesn't work anymore. So,
Well, it's still a capital expenditure. I mean, what do we want to do, council? I mean, obviously, we can use our positions to raise this up to DPW for their awareness, and ask for them to, I mean, we can tell them what to do, but they're in no authority to do what we tell them to. It's the mayor's prerogative. We can ask, we can instruct, we can do a lot of things, but we can't
Is this
tell
what
them
it's
to do
come
it.
to in this city? That when something is neglected, and something isn't fixed, and it's on the National Historic Register, we
Right.
have to shame somebody by coming here and putting it on the city council agenda and wasting your time, because people just aren't doing their job.
No, I get the frustration, Mr. Collins, and I understand why you're
It's a
saying.
fact.
I
It's not
understand.
frustration. It's a
Well, I hear frustration in your voice, because the frustration is because you shouldn't have to be here, and that's frustrating, and people should be proactive, and that's frustrating. So I hear the frustration. So councilors, I mean, I look to my colleague who represents this area. If this was in my district, I would be looking at 2 or 3 different things. One, I'd be looking at sending it to DPW for their review, getting some sort of answers, and saying, what can be done to make this improved? What can be done to make this back to where it was a year ago, which it was working, or before a year, before the trees started growing? Make it back to where it was presentable.
Over 5 years ago.
Whatever it is, 5 years, fine. I would be asking that question. I would also, and I think that's the first question I'd be asking. And then if it's about money, this potentially would be a capital. There's different places we can go to try to find the funding for this. We can ask if they have it in their operating budget. I don't know what this costs, but I would go through a lot of different series of places to see what we could do to try to make it happen. So,
I hear you. With a city that creates jobs out of thin air that didn't exist before, with a city that buys vehicles for everybody that works at City Hall now, I'm sure they can fix this clock on the National Historic Register. You know, we see what's going on around here, and we have to live with a broken, beautiful landmark up there when people are just, you get the picture, what's going on here. So thank you.
yeah. All right, so I've said my piece, but I don't represent the area, so. Councilors, what would you like to do?
I think it is the problem about money. I sent the email to Blaine, and he told me he has to move a company from, I don't know, remember the name, the clock company from New Hampshire, no, Massachusetts. And the other thing, he have to go to electric company as well, because the tree is in the clock, and they have to put it light off when they are repairing the clock. They have to move the people getting our electrician, and they have to announce they have to they have to notify many people around the place. And that costs a lot of money, that's they say.
Did they say how much money, Council?
No.
Okay. Have they done an estimate? Do they plan on doing an estimate?
No,
Do we
I don't,
know?
I don't have.
I know you don't, but I'm just wondering if did you get from their discussions that they are looking forward to, they're gonna be making a good faith effort to restore the clock? Did you get that sense or not?
No.
You don't get the sense, you don't think it's going to happen? Okay.
Because after that, I sent another email to get some update, what is going on with the information he has to looking for in the company and the budget about how much they cost, and I didn't have any answer.
So I guess it's here before us right now. I guess what I would be doing, I would want to find out, I would want an estimate as to how much that would cost. And that way we know what we're talking about. Or, I mean, there's so many different ways to approach this. You can send it to DPW saying that we want to see this thing fixed. We can ask them to give us, we could ask them to, what plans do they have for the clock, and put a little bit of, put the responsibility on them to provide a response to the committee as to how what they're looking to do to proceed. It's ultimately, it's like anything else. Ultimately, this is going to be about money. This is what this is about. It's not, they probably don't have money in their operating budget for this, nor do they plan on it. And that's why I was going to the capital. There's another budget, which the mayor provides every year to the council for capital improvement budgets. And to be at least on that list is a start, is how I would look at it. I'm not saying that you can't do it earlier, but, yeah, are you done? I would talk-
Yes.
Vice Chair? What do you think?
I think our colleagues need to take in consideration your suggestions, sending to the DPW, to the CAFO, and also to the mayor, because at the same time, you request the estimate through the construction or renovation. We need to identify where or come from the fund we need to repair these areas.
There's a few suggestions right there, so I'm not sure what direction you want to go in.
Yeah, like she said.
Your
To send-
motion, what the motion you mentioned?
So if I understand this, so you want to send a letter, a motion to send a
DPW.
letter to the DPW requesting them to fix, to give a response as to please fix this, and if not, why? Or what's stopping them from not fixing it? Maybe you want to get an answer. And then once you get the answer, you can figure out how you're going to deal with it. If it's about
The
money,
answer-
go ahead.
The
I'm sorry.
answer that I received from the guys Glenn, they don't have the stair. Glengarry,
Okay,
yeah.
yep.
The stairs, they don't have it, the firefighter doesn't have the stair to get in the clock
Okay.
because it's too high,
Okay,
yeah, and maybe the DPW doesn't have it.
so they have to contract the work out, which obviously is more expensive than keeping it in-house, right? So. Mr.
Chair.
Del Rosario, yeah.
It's not just money, it's also expertise. If you see the structure of the DPW, I don't think they will be able, even if they get a ladder, to take care of that. I mean, it's a historical clock. Honestly speaking, we don't know what's in the inside. We're just looking at the outside. So I'm assuming that we need some expert to go out there to restore or make that clock work the way it used to be. So, but go on to DPW, send it from here. It might let us know. Also, we can do those two things you said. We can send it to DPW to see what they said, and also send it to INL. So at the end of the day, they have it in there. So when we get the money, we might be able to fix it. They might have money. We don't know. But unless we get an estimate from an expert that says we can do this for this much, we can't pull the trigger from here. So we gotta let the ball roll and they have them make a decision on it.
So I think what your colleagues are saying to you, as far as a suggestion, is essentially, and I think you agree to this, which is to maybe make a motion to DPW and have them review this issue and report back to us their findings. And then we can keep this, it's not gonna happen overnight, I don't think. But if we keep on it with your assistance, if you're on it, they're gonna be on it. So if we start the ball rolling right now with that, begin that conversation, and make sure they're aware that we know about it as well, and that I'm not sure how this committee's gonna vote, but if the committee votes this is a good idea, I think that helps your cause.
All right, I started from the beginning.
We can, I mean, if you wanted to, we could always ask, I mean, if you wanted to engage, and I'm a little shy about doing this, but you can always ask for a representative of the department, or any representative, to come here and explain to us directly what the situation is here. I mean, we could listen to what they have to say and ask questions. That's another option, if you wanted to do that.
Yes,
So there's a lot of things. What would you like to do?
okay. I would like to send, to the DPW and CAFO, and to get the notice back with the update, with the budget.
The status of
yes.
fixing the clock?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we need to know the cost, because it's about money.
We think it's about money, right? And as Councilor Del Rosario says, it's about
Yes.
expertise as well. We don't have the capacity to do the work,
Yeah.
the equipment and such. Okay. All right, so there's a motion that we send correspondence to Mr. Iannello and to the DPW director, informing them of that the committee would like to see this clock fixed, and engage in a conversation. Did you want to, so are we or did you want them to respond with an email, with a letter? Did you want to invite them here to further have a discussion with them on this?
So,
Which one?
eh,
That's a choice.
the email or letter, doesn't matter.
Okay, so looking for a response from the DPW and the CAFO on their plans on restoring the clock.
CAFO,
Mr. Ianello, Mark Ianello. Mhm. So that's the motion. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Council Del Rosario. Nope, I'm sorry, I heard you first. Is it? Council Del Rosario. Any further discussion on this question? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And thanks for bringing that to our attention. That needs to be fixed, so. Okay. Next, we did the square dedication. No parking on Bradford Street, at Amesbury Street. Looking to send, that seems really weird. Is that the entire, are we looking at the entire street or just at the corner? Was she clear? No parking. No parking on Bradford Street, at Southside, at Amesbury Street. The entire south side of Bradford Street, I guess?
Didn't they just convert that into a two-way?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We can send it, it's gonna go to the police department anyway, they can come back and say that we've done something. So is there a motion to send this to the police department for their review?
So moved.
Motion made by Council Del Rosario, second by Council Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion. Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I think our last document, something else. Food truck. I got a cryptic message. This is 4/50/24, food truck business launch.
45024 called in and said that somebody has been taking her spot.
So what is it? Okay.
That's the message that she left with.
And that's why it's on the agenda? Okay. Oh, so they already have a permit for this? Hold on, there's more to this. We have stuff here. What are they looking for? What date? I wonder if that's Warehouse Park, where the Dominican Sunset music is, that. Yeah, today, I wonder if that's that area. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so they have a food truck grand opening on October the 6th. It is at near Ateneo Dominicana at 15 Union Street. But I'm confused by the phone message. Someone is taking her spot.
Yeah, because another truck, another food truck, parking there.
But they're not. If you want to, you want to,
Yeah,
that'd be great. If I mean,
if another person take it.
there's they got a porta potty. It's a big deal. What approvals did they get? Whoa, look at this.
Yeah.
Past due. Not necessarily unclean hands. Denied. That, you see that? It's the last page. Right there. Guess what we just saw? Take a look at this.
Withdraw?
No, take a look at that.
Do it.
How much money they owe.
Yeah, well, she told me something else. She told me that day was taken, so she's not interested in any of the date,
Okay,
and she would like to have a withdrawal.
to withdraw. Okay, well, that's a super easy one to do. So I'm looking for a motion to withdraw
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Santiago, seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Councilors, is there any other business we wish to take off the table this evening? We have minutes. Thank you, Pat. Okay. Councilors, we have minutes for the September 10th meeting. Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Minutes are adopted for September the 10th. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion made to adjourn by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Vice Chair Reyes. Discussion? See none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. All right. Thanks, Pat.